Welcome to Business Venture Exchange Africa, powered by the Insurers Association of Zambia. We're here at the Insurance Conference 2017 on the backdrop of the beautiful Zambezi River right in Livingstone, Zambia. And we're talking to the immediate past president of the Insurers Association of Zambia. His name is Mr. Shipango Muteto. Welcome to Business Venture Exchange.
Thank you, Faith, and thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you. Well, now let's talk about the history of the Insurers Association of Zambia. Where is the institute coming from, and what is its key position and role in the insurance industry in Zambia?
Yes, the Insurers Association is essentially an association of insurance companies and reinsurance companies that are licensed under the Insurance Act in Zambia. It's a trade association, and its main objectives essentially are to advocate for better business practices, for an enabling environment, both regulatory and otherwise, so that obviously the insurance companies who are our members will then be able to grow, and as they grow, to be able to serve their customer much better. Like I mentioned earlier on, it's an association of both insurance and reinsurance companies. Of course, the majority of them being insurance companies, and these are the ones that interact with the customers out there, be corporate or personal. Maybe like yourselves, and big companies, of course, like the mines and so forth. So basically our role and our objectives is to advocate for better business environment that is conducive for doing business in the country. And also we've taken on another role of consumer education, and we believe that consumer education is key for the people that are insuring, because insurance, first of all, is an intangible service. What I mean by intangible is that it's not something that you can see like water. It's a promise. When you come and buy an insurance policy, all we are saying that should you suffer loss, we will promise to pay you. So you don't see that value at that particular time, only when there's a loss. So that's essentially what us as our insurance association have been. We were obviously started in 1992. Which was immediately, if you recall, Faith, before 1991 in the political arena, there was only one political party that was opened up. Same thing was done on the insurance side. Before 1991, we only had one insurance company. But then that space was opened up, it was liberalized, and a number of insurance players came onto the market. So in 1992, we had 4 insurance companies in the market. And then at that stage, the people that were chief executive officers at that particular time decided that we should set up an association, which obviously currently is sitting at 40 members, of which 5 are reinsurers and the rest are insurance companies. And within the insurance companies, there are 2 categories. There are life insurance companies. Those are the ones that insure persons like yourself and myself. And then there are general insurance companies. I think those are 23, and the rest are life companies. So we currently have an association of members that form the association, well over 40 insurance entities in the country.
And when IAZ began in 1992,
yeah.
What was the insurance penetration numbers? What were the numbers and the statistics like with the 4 insurance companies, and where are we today?
Sadly, on that score, Faith, we've not moved, unfortunately, for a number of reasons maybe that I will allude to shortly. As we speak to date, we just under 1.5% penetration, and contribution to GDP, and just under 3% of the total population in the country have insurance. So yes, maybe we've not done very well in that score. And that's the more reason why in the last 4 years, what basically happened, I think before the association was much more purely on a voluntary basis. But 4 years ago, and I'm so grateful to my colleagues that at that time, that's the time I assumed the presidency of the association. One of the key resolutions that we undertook was to set up a permanent secretariat. Because before then, whoever was the president, the office was sitting in his office. But we said this won't work and this won't drive value. So we set up a permanent secretariat. And what is happening now in terms of insurance conference, which we started 3 years ago, is one of the deliverables that we had set ourselves to do. And then at that, in 2013, which was in our second year, the board that just went, we then came up with a 5-year strategic plan. And that strategic plan has basically 5 pillars. And one of the pillars there is consumer education. Of course, the ultimate aim is by 2019 to have 6 million Zambians that would have bought insurance. Not out of compulsion, but out of them having to appreciate the value of insurance. So that is the strategic plan that currently the Secretariat, under the leadership of the board of the current president who is there now, of course, rising from that strategic plan that we launched in 2015, is to drive industry to a level where the insurance penetration will grow. And our target is that by year 2019, the insurance penetration should move from 1.5% to 5%. Because the regional average currently, countries like South Africa, Namibia, they are sitting at 15%. So we are saying we should at least move from 1.5 to 5%. So yes, we haven't done well on that score, but hence we have this strategic plan that we've set for ourselves from 2015 to 2019 to increase the insurance penetration in the country.
Now finally, Mr. Muteto, the Honorable Minister of Finance in his remarks mentioned that he would like to task this particular conference with coming up with at least 5 key areas that you feel as insurers will be able to drive and grow the sector from where we are today. Talking about issues of reinsurance, which I know you're very well skilled and specialized in, what do you think reinsurance needs to do in able to be able to keep more of that money in the country?
I think first things, let's start even with the insurance companies. I think the issue of capital, increase in capital for all the entities, be it insurance companies and reinsurance companies, we support government, we support the Pensions and Insurance Authority, and they should not allow to shift the target, which is September 2017. It's imperative that every player in the market, it's a financial service. Remember I mentioned that insurance is an intangible service. And therefore, that promise of saying we'll settle your claim should you suffer loss requires stronger financial companies, institutions. And therefore, capital for every player in the market must be increased. And that then will entail that the capacity to retain risks in the country will also increase. And that way they will lessen the capital flight that is currently going on.
Are you pushing them towards a space of partnership or closing down?
I think government is very clear. They don't intend to close everybody. I think the opportunities are there for synergies, people working together. I think the minister alluded to the fact that you are better off being somebody in something big than being a chairman of a nothing. I think those are the exact words he used. So I think we are encouraging people those that can't raise capital should consider merging so that 2 insurance companies can merge. This one brings the capital they already have, the capital they have, then they meet that requirement. So if it will remain reducing the number and then having very few but stronger insurance companies, so be it, because we think that will drive value for the customer. There will be much more investment. There will be much more capacity to retain the risks. However, at a second, maybe to add on to that point, maybe which I would want to put on record, is the issue of deliberate policies that government need to put in place as we are working together to do that. As we speak now, we have, of the 5 reinsurance companies that I alluded to before maybe we began this interview, Faith, we have enough capacity to write the majority of risks in this country that are being written by insurance companies and reinsured. But what is happening is that a number of reinsurances are being placed outside the country by, for example, the contractors that are being appointed, for example, to do roads, to put up major airports in the country. They have, because of the funding that they've received, say, from a particular donor, the insurance is being taken back. We are aware, for example, of the long workers more, which is being put up by the Public Service Pension Fund. We know that insurance is sitting in China, and that's a fact. No one is going to dispute that. The question is that's Zambian money, Zambian pension money, and the insurance insurance and reinsurance companies that are in the country have the capacity. There are two ways of dealing with issues of capacity, Faith, without sounding too long on your program. One is called co-insurance. Co-insurance entails that we have, on the general side, we have 23 insurance companies. So instead of only one insurance company taking that business, they take 2% and reinsure 98% out of the country. What should then happen is a slip goes around to all the 23 insurance companies. This one takes 2%, this one takes 2%, this takes 5%, depending on the size of their capital. And this we are talking about capital being increased to 10 million for general insurance company and 12 million for life insurance companies. What then entails that their capacities will go up, which means those percentages that I'm alluding 2%, 5% will go up maybe 10%. Now multiply 10% by 23 insurance companies. That already tells you we can actually absorb more. That is the primary market, which is called co-insurance. If the risk, let's assume a risk is worth 100 million kwacha, and at co-insurance level, which is the primary market, 50 million has been absorbed by each company taking a share in that risk. The 50 million that has remained now goes to the secondary layer in the market, which is the reinsurers such as ourselves. And I can tell you, Faith, for example, that speaking for ZEP-Re, which I manage here in Zambia, we can write risks up to 30 million US dollars. In kwacha terms times 10, we're talking of 300 million. So all we are saying is that there's enough capacity. I think what we need are deliberate policies that will localize and stem the outflow of reinsurance out of this country. We do have the capacity to handle a number of the risks. Yes, there are very large risks such as mining, whose exposures and values are astronomical. I do agree we have to blend the two solutions, localization, and at the same time, the balance then can go outside the country for two reasons. Faith, as I conclude our discussion maybe, is that we are going to turn 54 years as a country. We are the third largest copper producing country in the world after Chile and Australia. I don't believe, personally myself, that after 54 years, we don't have an insurance mining expert out of Zambia. Simply because we've transferred knowledge. Someone from the UK, where there's no copper mine, should come and lecture us on how to insure a mine in Zambia. I find it demeaning. I find it insulting. I think it's not correct. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Muteto. No, we're very grateful for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we had the immediate past president, Mr. Shipango Muteto, who gave us very, very key, vital information about what's happening in the insurance industry and what needs to happen moving forward. Very hard decisions that need to be made, both from a policy perspective and from the insurance players that are currently working and are playing in the industry at the moment. Now, he is also the country manager for ZEP-Re Reinsurance Company, which are amongst the top 5 and amongst the only 5 reinsurance companies in Zambia. Well, you're watching Business Venture Exchange Africa, powered by the Insurers Association of Zambia, and we're here at the Insurers Conference 2017 in Livingstone, Zambia. I'm Faith Chitulangoma. Thank you for watching.